Hi, this is Sally's Book Talk, bringing you the best global books daily. I'm Yunya Tui. Today's featured book is Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. This globally best-selling philosophical work serves as both a spiritual autobiography and a book that has influenced countless readers. The author chronicles his motorcycle journey across America with his son and friends, weaving in profound insights about knowledge versus values, spirituality versus materialism, and philosophy in daily life. Originally written as personal therapy during a life crisis, its exploration of universal spiritual dilemmas made it one of the most profound bestsellers of our time. Apple co-founder Steve Jobs called it the most influential book in his life, though its fame predated his own success. The book achieved international fame even before Jobs rose to prominence. Published in 1974, it sold 1 million copies in its first year, adopted by Jobs' generation as cultural canon. The author Robert Pirsig, born 1928, was a prodigy who battled severe mental illness before working as technical writer. After recovery, he worked writing technical manuals for machinery. In 1968, his 11-year-old son Chris began showing mental health struggles. Seeking self-rediscovery and better father-son connection through shared experience, Pirsig embarked on a cross-country motorcycle journey with Chris from Minnesota's Twin Cities to San Francisco. Coast Journey Memories became the book whose title references Zen philosophy. Pirsig's study of Eastern philosophy in India informed his understanding of Zen. Japanese Zen concepts began influencing American culture post-221. The 1960s counterculture movements, hippies, Beat Generation, embraced Zen as rebellion against capitalist norms. And as rebels aged and sought quieter pursuits, many became fascinated with exotic philosophies like Zen. While the title Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance tapped into trending themes, countless Zen-themed books flooded the market. So why did this particular book stand the test of time? What exactly did Pirsig understand Zen to be? When we think of Zen, we imagine mountain serenity and flowing streams, temples with incense smoke, profound poems about enlightenment and emptiness. But Pirsig explicitly states his work has nothing to do with Buddhist Zen. Readers soon discover extensive discussions about motorcycle maintenance intertwined with philosophy, though it's certainly not a technical manual like those from vocational schools. Americans' car-centric culture makes vehicle dependence near total. So how did the author find Eastern Zen through machinery? Pirsig emphasizes motorcycles specifically enabled his worldview-changing insights. Why not cars? What's the fundamental difference? Let's hear his explanation. Car windows limit your perspective. Watching scenery through car windows is like watching TV at home. You remain passive observer, but motorcycles remove that barrier. Without windshields, you become one with the environment, no longer spectator but active participant in the landscape. Secondly, motorcycles create man-machine unity, like horseback riding, unlike cars' detachment. Cars are complex machines most drivers never truly understand mechanically. Motorcyclists often maintain their own engines, but Pirsig's companions John and Sylvia took different approaches. These two loved riding motorcycles, yet knew nothing about their mechanics, showing no interest to learn. When their proud motorcycle refused to start, they'd angrily blame dealers rather than listen to engine sounds. Neglect wasn't limited to motorcycles for John and Sylvia. Pirsig once mentioned their leaky faucet. John responded, "I changed the washer, still leaks, forget it." This attitude made Pirsig ponder deeply. Why enjoy motorcycle rides through nature while refusing to maintain the machine enabling it? Why embrace technology while fearing its complexity? The couple believed mechanical issues should be left to professionals. But Pirsig found mechanics equally careless with machines. At repair shops, mechanics banged parts loudly without care. Pirsig lamented. He said, "They treat machines as soulless objects with manuals." He silently pleaded, "Slow down. Haste shows we've stopped caring." Observing differences during rides revealed more contrasts. John's BMW motorcycle developed loose handlebars, tightening attempts failed. Pirsig suggested inserting metal shims into handlebar gaps. "Where do we buy shims?" John asked. Pirsig raised a beer can. "He'll make shims from this aluminum." "This is the world's best makeshift shim." Beer can aluminum makes perfect shims, soft, adhesive, rust-proof material. But unexpectedly, John got angry. "I'm not interested." Forget fixing it. The handlebars remained loose. Why this reaction? Pierce had realized John felt insulted by using beer can material to repair his $1,800 brand new BMW motorcycle. This machine represented half-century of German mechanical mastery. John valued surface prestige over functional essence. Pirsig focused on material utility, aluminum's practical properties. But using trash materials on premium tech understandably caused dissonance. The book contains many such meaningful contrasts. Unlike the couple, Pirsig meticulously cataloged their possessions. Camping gear, toiletries, plus 20 to 30 motorcycle tools and parts. Hammers, files, wrenches, lubricants, diagnostic meters, spark plugs, throttle cables, brake lines, fuses, bulbs. This inventory reveals extraordinary relationship with objects. He affectionately describes his 3 worn leather gloves, moldy and battered, yet full of character and memories. "My motorcycle has traveled 27,000 miles with me." Time creates irreplaceable uniqueness. Even identical models differ. Its mechanical personality through shared experiences makes it unique. Thus, Pearson discerned fundamentally different worldviews. Here we reach the book's core thesis. Pirsig proposes 2 worldviews, classical and romantic. The classical approach examines structure and form, analyzing components systematically, like studying engine blueprints with technical terms and schematics, fascinating to classical minds. The romantics rely on intuition and aesthetics, rejecting rational analysis. Motorcycle trips embody romance. Maintenance represents classical rationality. Repairs mean greasy hands and oil stains, deadly, unromantic. This dualism forms Western philosophy's foundation. Western thought thrives on binaries: reason, emotion, mind, part, subject, object. These opposing forces resist reconciliation. Romantics see classical thinking as oppressive, half to death's domain through measurement and proof. John saw beer can shims as visually incompatible with his BMW's prestige. He rejected practical knowledge through aesthetic judgment alone. Pirsig avoids binary judgments, seeks transcendence beyond dualism. Enter Phaedrus, not human but symbolic ghost character, a psychological projection of Pirsig's former self. Phaedrus carries Pirsig's past burdens and genius. Child prodigy with 170 IQ at age 9. In high school, he completed college-level biochemistry courses, studying the boundary between living and non-living matter. But Phaedrus became lost. Science's classical approach separates subject-object, focusing solely on why and how. During college, he realized this couldn't satisfy his existential needs. This realization plunged him into deep existential crisis. He eventually dropped out without completing his degree. The book documents Pirsig's dual struggles with companions and his past self. On a 39 degrees Celsius day during their journey, Pirsig stood observing the scorched landscape. Engine homes, throttle mechanisms, every rock and weed, sensory overload under blazing sun. He realized his lifelong analytical approach to reality, like analyzing sand grains, texture, color, shape, endless classification. This analytical rabbit hole terrifies many. People recoil from motorcycle mechanics, technical jargon, and complexity. Phaedrus's madness manifested as obsessive quest to transcend dualism. Military service in Korea introduced him to Eastern philosophy, Zen Buddhism, Tao Te Ching. Post-military, he studied Eastern philosophy in India. Philosophy encompasses science. Science is merely philosophy's branch, he asserted. Phaedrus's worsening schizophrenia ultimately caused his demise. The haunting question remains, and who am I now? Pirsig declares, I'm reborn, emerged from my spiritual crisis. Now I devote myself completely to tasks, embracing complexity without fear. I approach everything with meticulous care and presence. Yet, Phaedrus's ghost lingers. Chris inherited mental instability, mood swings, bizarre questions, even incontinence at 11. Doctors diagnosed mental illness but treated Chris like machinery, cold and impersonal. Their journey conversations often erupted into harsh arguments. Chris's volatile emotions frequently triggered paternal scolding and tearful outbursts. One night in their tent, as Chris sobbed himself to sleep, Phaedrus's ghost appeared silently. Pirsig realized he must confront his son's struggles head-on. Crossing America westward, their relationship hardened like cooling lava. Rare moments of connection flashed through, Chris briefly sinking emotionally. At mountain summit, Chris suddenly explained, "Blue sky!" Ordinary yet profound. We reached the peak unconsciously, Pirsig mused. In that unconscious ascent, father-son duality dissolved. The summit revelation shattered dualism. Blue sky merging earth and heaven. This epiphany emerges through sustained devotion, like all summit joys. Yet few attain Pirsig's profound unity and fulfillment. Pirsig introduces quality, Chinese Liu Chiu, central philosophical concept. Liang, love meaning, Ji, Zi meaning, essence, undefinable yet perceptible, manifests through lived experience. This embodies Zen's essence within the narrative. Western dualism forces perpetual choice and anxiety. Fear of unchosen paths haunts binary thinking. Eastern Zen finds unity everywhere, even in discarded tires. It requires mindfulness, patience, and total engagement. Complex machines become approachable through dedicated care. Pirsig argues we must embrace technology's complexity like rider-machine symbiosis. Will we have self-driving motorcycles? Unthinkable horror. Motorcycles inherently demand human partnership since invention. Navigating tech-dominated world requires arduous spiritual journey. Inner clarity sustains us through infinite complexity. Pissig's prescription. Ride ground-hugging motorcycles, absorbing every sensory detail. Flying coast to coast gains speed but loses essence. These concepts form the book's accessible surface layer. The text complexity allows diverse interpretive paths. Post-fame, Pirsig shunned limelight, anonymous despite global impact. Meanwhile, countless knockoffs flooded markets. Zen and the art of diaper changing. Zen and gambling, mostly cash grabs or parodies. Pirsig wasn't a life coach. His book expanded cognitive horizons. The book portrays Pirsig as ordinary, a frequently confused father. Rare online photos show him resembling any mechanic. The concluding father-son dialogue deserves special attention. Dad, can I have a motorcycle when I'm older? You can maintain it properly. What must I do? All the things you've seen me do. Can you teach me everything? Of course. Difficult? Only if your attitude's wrong. Deceptively simple wisdom. The conclusion's profundity requires 200,000 word journey to appreciate. Motorcycle maintenance becomes artistic pursuit of quality, unifying perception through mundanity. Like Tao or Zen, modern life's artificial divisions obscure true perception. Post-1974 success, Pirsig co-founded Zen Center with Japanese friend Katagiri Roshi. Chris confessed, "I hate your book. You used me without asking." Heartbroken, Pirsig entrusted Chris to Katagiri in 1979 while writing abroad. Tragedy struck on November 7th. Chris was fatally stabbed near Zen Center entrance. Chris's untimely death extinguished Pirsig's interest in fame and public life. He wandered the world until dying at 88, rejecting societal conventions. At 78, he granted rare interview, fleeting glimpse into his solitude. "I still miss my son. Imperfect, flawed, but mine," he told reporters. Asked about Zen. "Stop mentioning Zen. Current discussions are fraudulent." Contemporary Zen discourse, he claimed, had become spiritual commodification. Yet Zen in the art sells 10+ million copies, enduring as cultural touchstone. Thus concludes our exploration of this philosophical odyssey.